There we go. Perfect. So, Miranda, how is your day so far?
My day?
Yeah.
My day is going okay. I'm pretty tired. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And I had an acting class kind of early this morning, so I sort of I did that, but it was hard. It was arduous. And then I tried to take a nap, and then I went and did Runyon, and that's why I was running late. Do you know what Runyon is?
No.
Okay, so Runyon's like this hike in LA. It's like kind of this like iconic hike in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyway, whatever. I went and did Runyon, and I'm literally still sweating from it. So honestly, there's a ring light in front of me, and it's doing God's work. So God bless it.
That's so cool. Wow, I didn't know that. How cool is that? Well, if that, I mean, I did my physical activity today too. What ended up happening is that I have a puppy, so he was on the fence playing with his toys, and then I went right to the kitchen to grab something. Went back outside, and he was gone. So I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" So I ended up running through the whole neighborhood finding it, and I did finding it. But the problem was because he's a puppy. Like whenever I was running to him, he thought that I was playing, so he was running again. So it was an end. It was an endless pursuit until there was this guy running, and then I was like, grab him, grab the dog. And the guy surprised. He grabbed it, and he was like, yes, thank you, man. So I grabbed it back, and came back home. So.
Damn. Okay. Wow. You had a morning.
Yeah, but it was cool. It was. I mean, that's one of the things of having a puppy, right? Because
You're a parent.
With 3 dogs. I have 3 dogs and 2 adults, the puppy, and the adults, they never cross the fence because they don't fit. So I got confident. I was like, yeah, the puppy. But it turns out that yes, he can totally squish it. So.
Well, lesson learned.
Yeah, true. I need to buy some kind of like this. I don't know the word in English, but it's like these things that they use like in farms. You know what I mean? Like for the hens and everything. They put it.
So like a cage.
Yeah, kind of it. Yeah, I will buy like that material, so then the puppy wouldn't.
Yeah.
It will work.
Little fence.
There we go.
There you go.
There you go. But so welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. It is so awesome to have you here. Now, before we start, I have to give you an epic, super badass welcome to the show. So, let me show you.
Oh, is that it? That's my clapping, my applause.
Yeah, it is by far my favorite part every single time of this. I love doing this. I don't know why, but yeah. But anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
So starting with the whole interview now, tell me, where does your passion for acting come from?
Well, it's not really specifically a passion for acting anymore. It started off that way, but it's more just a passion for storytelling. I just think storytelling is really important, and I just love stories, and I really find people very interesting. So it's more just a fascination with people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love it. So in 2008, you were in the TV show Back to the Rafters. Tell me, was that like your first TV experience?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was so nervous. I was very young, and they wanted me to do this like really crazy voice. Like it was a comedic, very small part. I was in like a couple of scenes, and they made me do this like really silly voice that I was really embarrassed to be doing, and like I had to make out with the lead actor in it, and like I was just so scared.
Yeah.
And, oh my god, it was a terrifying experience, but it was so fun and so exciting. And that was my first TV job ever.
That's so cool. Then in 2009 and in 2010, we can see we can see you in more projects such as The Cut, Wisdom, Virsa, Cups, LAC, Unravel Me. Tell me, like, what are some of the highlight moments you had during those projects? Do you remember some of them?
It was a long time ago. I vaguely remember all of them. I remember Cops LAC because that was a really scary role as well, but it was really fun, and I liked that a lot. So that was really cool. And then oh my God, what was the other one that you said? The Cut. The irony of that was that a lot of my scenes in that TV series were cut. My character was essentially cut from the cut. So yeah, I played this cheerleader. Her name was Carla. Again, I was very, very young, and I was in some scenes, and there was the character I think got cut because maybe it was a bit raunchy. The character and her relationship with like this other guy, this older guy, was very raunchy, and they decided to cut it. I was still in a few scenes and stuff, and I remember I had a dance coach that taught me cheerleading, and I'm such a bad dancer. It was a nightmare, but I remember that, and I had to learn a cheer routine, so it was a really, really fun experience. But yeah, that was my first time. I remember the call. I remember where I was. I was in Surrey Hills in Sydney, and I was walking up a massive hill, and the director called me to tell me that they'd cut like almost all of my scenes from that TV series. And I remember like kind of being a bit like bummed out, but realizing now how many people, it happens to absolutely everyone. Yeah. It's the reality of it at the industry.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. Like a lot of times they would cut them, and like sometimes they will like cut like if that actor had like this whole monologue, they will pretty much cut everything, and they will just let him like in an intro, and that's it. And so I know what you mean. Now during those years that I just mentioned, you were so in both films and TV shows. So tell me, like what are some of the difference that you noticed from being on a set to shoot a film and on a set to shoot a TV show?
I was thinking about this today, and every medium is different, right? Like if you're shooting a sitcom, it's a different genre. The acting techniques are different. Obviously, if you're shooting a horror movie, it's very different. If it's found footage, like there's so many things that make things different, right? Depending on genre and stuff. But sometimes when you get too deep into those differences, you stop thinking about the important thing, which I think is just being an honest actor and like just telling the truth. I think this focus, like I was thinking about that today. I mean, there are differences. Like I think TV is a lot quicker than cinema. The relationships you have, like if you're on set for a film, you develop kind of like you have this very, very intense relationship with the people on set for the film, perhaps more so than you do for TV. But I've never been the lead in a TV series. I've only come in and done reoccurring or guest roles, so I can't speak to it as much as I can with film. For a long time, I always preferred film. I always just really enjoyed doing film, and now I don't know. I think they're both great, but I also just think that the important thing is that you're telling a story in an honest way, and TV is changing so much now that those differences aren't as much anymore. They're close, you know what I mean? Like there's such a focus on good television, and we're seeing so many series become the focus. I mean, movies in a way are, there's not as many of them.
Yeah, totally. And I also think that the whole streaming apps have also kind of helped, to kind of change the whole movie and TV industry,
Yeah, 100%. No, the industry has changed so much, especially since I first started acting, like professionally, things have changed.
Yeah.
Unbelievably. Yeah. Very, very different. I remember, back in the day, like doing television was like looked down upon. You were supposed to want to be an actor that did film. Yeah. And like it was looked. I used to say that I would go on like a soap opera. Like in Australia, we have this soap opera called Home and Away or Neighbours, and I did Home and Away, and I mean, I just had a very small part in it. It wasn't a big deal or anything, but like there was such a sort of like a snobbery around it. Like, and then once you get into the industry, you graduate from an acting school and you start, auditioning and stuff, you do get to a point where you're like, dude, I would love to be on a soap opera. Like, I would love to be on Saved by the Live. Like, sure, sometimes the storytelling could be maybe a little bit heightened. Maybe being in a Lifetime movie could feel a little, you know, insane sometimes, for sure. But at the end of the day, the consistent work, the consistent pay, the stability, like, that can be also really, like, sometimes it's just so hard to get work as an actor, any work, that you do get to a point where you're like, yeah, I would love to do that, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I also think, like, the whole, like, also because of the whole pandemic, like, the whole audition process changed, right? The fact that you needed to do now, like, kind of self tapes, you know, like,
right,
like bringing this new type of thing from getting used to go to auditions. I also think that marked, like, like a breaking point into the whole industry, you know?
Yeah, no, the pandemic has changed the industry a lot, and I think it's. I had a really fantastic voice actor on my Twitch stream this week. Someone called Gabe Kunda. He's the voice of KO in Valorant. He's an incredible talent, and he lives in Texas. And I had this conversation with him. He's a very successful voice actor, and he was telling me that there was all this pressure on him pre-pandemic to move to LA, right? From his agency, you know, like, really come here and work and stuff. And he has this professional studio set up in his house. And then the pandemic hit, and now it's like, no, you can be wherever you want. And that really has changed the industry and opened things up a lot. And I think auditioning will never be the same. You know, I have this conversation with my friends a lot about whether or not we are going to go back to auditions in person, and of course we will, you know, but it's never going to be what it was. You know, you used to be going in the room all the time, and I think self-taping is now really where it's at. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, a lot of things have changed recently. Like, the other day I saw this monologue from Ricky Gervais saying that now, like, the whole Emmys or Oscars, Netflix should pretty much win everything. Like the shows would last like a minute, saying, like, congratulations Netflix, you won everything, goodbye, we're done, you know? Because
right,
like, cinema still, I do think that at some point, I mean, a lot of cinemas, for example, in my city, closed because of the whole pandemic too, you know, that there was no reason to keep them open. So and now like, this whole platform of streaming that we have, Disney Plus, HBO, or Netflix, I do think that at some point it's just gonna change. I mean, I don't think, like, the whole cinema experience, it's gonna be over. I don't think that. But
no, I didn't think so either.
But I do think that maybe, I don't know, like I don't know what it is for you, but for example, for me, going to the cinema is super expensive. You know, you ended up expending, like, a lot of money for see a movie, and then we can see, like, on Disney Plus, for example, they release some of those movies as well. You pay the price, you pay like half price, but you're in your home, you know.
Sure. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, but going to the movies is, like, the greatest thing in the world,
Totally.
But I know exactly what you mean. I haven't been to the movies in forever, so I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes it feels like an effort. It's like going to an art gallery. We all, like, it's great once you're there, but you're not doing it all the time.
Yeah, totally. Now, between 2011 and 2014, you were involved even in more projects, such as The Next Door to Velinsky, Home and Away, Dark Minds, My Cornerstone, Deadly Woman, Dookie, Plunger, The Casuals, Dark Temptations, PG Pulse. So tell me, like, what was your first reaction when you realized that you were getting involved into a lot more projects, and what are some of the things that you enjoy the most about them?
What was my reaction? I don't know. I guess it was just things. My career was just, I was just doing things. I remember that time. I don't know if any of those projects were necessarily, like, other than The Casuals, which I actually co-wrote. And I sorry, my best friend is in chat and she just commented something. Thank you, Margot. Greetings from Argentina. Oh my god, that's so far away. So yeah, I remember The Casuals being a really fantastic experience and something that I learned so much from. And to this day, say, you know, I'm so grateful that I was a part of going and making a web series with two of my friends and co-writing it and being part of that process. You know, it was so interesting, and it's really inspired me till this day. Those projects, the other ones that I did, Deadly Women and Dark Minds and all that kind of stuff, you know, they were crime reenactment shows. I don't know if you've ever watched those shows, but oh god, they're somewhere out there. People still see me in them, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I had to pay my rent, didn't I?
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, totally. I mean, we all have to start at some point, you know.
Yeah, some of those projects were better than others. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. So that was an interesting time, but yeah, you know, I was working and learning, and it's got me to where I am today. So
yeah, there you go. And plus, they're really cool, you know. I do enjoy to watch like those projects, you know. Like whenever I will do like the research from an actor, and I will watch like all those short films or films that nobody knows. Some of them are really cool. Some of them are super funny, and yes, sometimes some of them are like, what the hell am I watching, you know?
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah.
But it's part of the
I've
life.
done a lot of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there were some good ones in there, and yeah.
Totally. Now, like, tell me how you usually prepare a character, and like, is there any technique you do, or what is like the thing that you always do in order kind of to set your mind for a character?
I don't have anything I do consistently. My technique, sorry, my cat is beneath me making a fuss. I have had different techniques over the years. I'm actually doing this class at the moment because I'm interested in sort of expanding my technique to involve more things.
Yeah.
For a long time, I used my own life as inspiration, and then I stopped doing that. And I started, you know, just focusing on the character and creating an imaginary life. There's a lot of conflict within those techniques about whether you should use your own life to influence your work, or whether you should be completely playing a different person.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know the answer to it. I think for me, obviously, it's just really important to play the relationship between you and the person that you're in the scene with. Relationship is the most important thing. It affects how you speak to someone, you know, how you look, what you wear, everything, your mannerisms and stuff. So I think about the relationship between the two people in the scene. If it's an audition, I prepare maybe just by creating like a moment before. I think about who I am, where I am, what I am, like things like that. I think about what maybe the character what music they would listen to. Sometimes if it's something that I really want to book, I'll create like a Pinterest board for them, and I'll create like a vibe. If I book the role, then I'm going to write like a backstory for them and like send it to the director.
That's so cool.
Yeah, things like that. But like, I never had a set way that I've done things. It changes, and I think that that's really important. Like actors that are like, oh, I use the Stanislavski technique, and oh, I'm exclusively Meisner. I'm like, that's just ridiculous. Like, it's gonna take different things, and sometimes you book a role and you just literally don't need to do any work because it's so close to you as a person that you're just like, I totally get this character. I'm not even going to do a damn thing. And then sometimes I've booked things before where I'm like, that is so far from the reality of my life and how I behave that I'm going to have to really dig deep for this. And you do all that work, and then you do the job, and you actually don't even use any of it. You throw it all away in the end, you know? Like, that's the part about being informed and creating a character. So
yeah. And do you like stay with your character throughout the whole, let's say, shooting process, or just when you have to go shoot the scene and then you go back to yourself? Like,
yeah, I go back to I'm just myself. I mean, I think people that stay in character are like, I mean, that's a bit ridiculous. I think if you're playing the Joker or something.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Or, you know, like Hannibal Lecter, like, yeah, maybe you're going to stay in character. Or like, there are certain roles where I can understand that it's necessary. But, you know, I mean, I think it's a little unnecessary. The only thing that I do think is I'm Australian, I live in LA, and I will say that I do think it's important to stay on accent. So like I try, I mean it's just so hard because it's so bizarre, but I try to speak with an American accent when I'm playing an American character the whole time I'm on set.
Yeah.
Because otherwise your accent drops in scenes. It just does. No one's perfect, you know. So I'm a voice actor and I still fuck up. So I definitely think it's important to try to do that. But other than that, no, I've never stayed in character. If I have a big scene coming up, like a big emotional scene, I will take time away for myself if I can. Like maybe the hour before, I'll go and I'll prep. I'll be by myself. I'll tell someone, oh, I just need some space. But other than that, no. I just think it's almost to me just very self-indulgent to be in character on set. It just feels a little bit self-indulgent. I can't explain it. Okay. I think you should be able to turn it on and off, but that's just me. That's just my opinion.
Totally. Now, what do you think it's important for new actors to know when they are preparing a character for a role?
I would probably say it depends what it is, but if you're booking your first TV thing or something, I would probably get a coach. I would just pay and get a private session. You know, it might cost you like $150 for an hour or something, but it's probably going to be worth it. And I think that the most important thing to remember if you're preparing something is you've just got to find a way to tell the truth. And like, whatever that means to you is whatever it means. So like, just find a way to be really honest and sincere, and you don't have to do too much with it, really. Yeah. And just try to relate to whatever the text is as much as you can and not be judgmental. And I think that's all you can really do. And I think my advice to anyone who wants to get, because I get asked this so much on TikTok, who wants to get into voice acting or acting, is just take a class. I've noticed that people have this idea that like, they're like, oh, everyone says I have a good voice, you know, I should do voice acting. Or everyone says I'm funny, you know, I should try stand up. And I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely true. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but it is a skill that you need to train to have. And it's crazy. Like if I was like, oh, I'm really good with numbers, you know, I think I might become an accountant. Like I have to go and study to become an accountant. So it's the same thing in the arts. You have to go and take a class. So I think it's just go and take a class. You can just Google it in your local area. You'll get so much out of it. You'll get confidence. You'll have a community. You'll get information. You'll be so much more empowered.
Yeah, totally. So basically, it's like if you're not taking classes, let's say that it's like raw talent. You know that you need to working on that. So then it can be like a proper talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I do think the same. I mean, it doesn't matter that if you have a talent on something, you need like some work on that in order to make it into real something and not into something, like into something not possible. I don't know.
Well, it's very arrogant to be like, I'm so good at this thing that I don't need to take a class on it. Like that's crazy. That's a crazy thing to think. Like, you know, everyone can get better and everyone has something to learn, no matter who you are, no matter what level you're at. Yeah. So you know, that's the whole point of being being alive. Like you're a student forever. You know. There you go.
Yeah, you're always learning. Yeah, I do agree.
You're always learning. Yeah.
Totally. Now, from all of the characters that you have played at the moment, what are some of your favorite ones? I did a very random Christmas movie. Okay. The more the merrier. And I can't even remember my character's name, but she was fucking batty as hell, and she was wild and hilarious, and I loved her. And that was one of the funnest jobs. It was probably the funnest job I've ever done. It was the most I've laughed on set. Like it was so funny. Yeah. Shooting a comedy Christmas movie. It was the best. I really enjoyed shooting Indigo Lake. It was a movie I did in Australia a few years ago that ended up taking me took me to Cannes, to the film festival in France. And I really enjoyed shooting that because I worked so fucking hard to book that role. And then I booked it, and it just really was such a big part of my life. So I really liked that as well. Those were two really... Oh, and I shot a movie called Coven, and it wasn't a very good movie, but I did meet my best friend on that set a few years ago, and it was a horror movie, and I love horror movies. So that was a cool experience as well. That's cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Wow. So then, between 2017 and 2019, you were even in more projects involved, such as Rose Drive, Indigo Lake, Age of the Living Dead, Love You, Krishna, and then in 2020, you were in 2 video games. So let's start with XCOM. Tell me, was that like your first video game experience?
Yeah, that was the first one I booked. I've only booked 2.
That's cool.
that was my first one.
That's so cool.
Yeah, no, it was really great. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and it was such a fun experience. I love voice acting, and they were super nice. It's by 2K Games. XCOM Chimera Squad. My character's name was Zephyr. She's like this 7-foot-tall alien. She's a fucking bad bitch.
That's so cool.
And yeah, she's awesome. And yeah, no, it was a really great experience. Like, they were really nice. I lost my voice recording her though, so I realized at that point that I needed to do like voice exercises before I recorded. Yeah,
that's so cool. I think it's one of the awesome things of doing voiceover, right? That you can be a monster, you can be an alien, you can be whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just your voice and that's it. So I think that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, no, it was great. I love voice acting. I really am so lucky that I've gotten to be a part of the community. It kind of just randomly fell into my lap a little bit. Like, I just started, it was a random opportunity that led to me doing it. So it was really fun. So
cool. And then Valorant came. So you played as Sky. Tell me about your character and how did you came up like with the personality for her?
Well, I think she's just me.
There you go.
I don't think I did too much on that one.
Cool.
Yeah, she's I just got a brief for her, and like, she was an Australian girl from the country. She wasn't called Sky at that time. She had another name, and she was from Nimbin, which is a very small country town. So I knew she was going to have a very strong country accent. So I hammed up my accent a little bit more. And she was just like a pretty sassy, strong woman. She really, really loves animals. I really love animals, don't we all? And cares about the environment and stuff. And I just really like connected with her, and I had a really fun time recording the audition, and I didn't really think too much of it. And then a few weeks later, I got an email from my agent and from Riot Games, which is the company that produces Valorant, saying that I'd booked the role. And it was like, I didn't know what it was. I'd never heard of Valorant, and I didn't know that Riot was a big company. Do you play video games?
Yeah, I do.
Have you ever played Valorant?
I haven't.
You haven't? Okay, yeah. It's like a first-person tactical shooter game, and it's pretty big. Like, it's got a pretty big following, and so it's been pretty crazy. I started streaming on Twitch because of it. I started a YouTube channel. I have a brand manager, someone that like helps me make content. I got a little following on TikTok from it.
There you go.
Yeah, and it was just, it's been a very interesting experience to just do one video games and have like a little, have a following has been so interesting and so crazy. I feel very lucky.
Yeah, totally. And it's interesting how like the whole, let's say like the whole voice acting has changed like through video games. Like in a few of my interviews, I have said that voice acting in video games back in the day, it was horrible. It was horrendous. I mean, you didn't care about the acting at all. Like some of them were awkward. Like even like the script was also kind of awkward. And now we can see that they put like more work into it. Like by delivering us very more intriguing characters, like with more, like more recent, plus with the whole technology right now, the graphics, everything. It is really cool.
Yeah, they had the like they'd be like, I'm gonna kill you, like that.
Yeah.
Like, you're dead, like that's like weird like voice, and I really think I talked about this the other day on my Twitch, that like that's the thing that's changed now. And that was for me when I booked Zephyr and XCOM. I booked her doing a monologue, and that monologue was never used in the video game. They just wanted me to read this monologue about basically Zephyr losing her whole family and going and fighting in this war. And it was like really moving. Like I was tearing up telling this, recording this audition. And that was for me when I realized, like, that's why voice acting is acting. Like really good voice actors are just really good actors.
Totally.
People think that they're like, I can be like in another world, like do this voice, and then, oh my God, I'm going to book all these voice acting jobs. But if you want to book animation or you want to book video games, you have to be able to tell a story through a voice,
Yeah. And also, if they added, besides doing the voice acting, you need to do also the motion capture. That is like another plus that you need to prepare,
Yeah, I don't, not for Valorant. I did do motion capture. But yes, that's also very challenging. I did motion capture a long time ago back in Australia when I was like a kid, but yeah, it's a very weird experience.
Totally. I bet. But yeah, it is interesting. Like back in the day, as I said, there was no personality on the characters, and now, I mean, we have saw like they put like a lot of story that make it almost into a movie, like in games like God of War, Last of Us 2. That they really put like a lot of work on that, and they ended up being like works of art. I mean, it's just amazing like how technology is kind of helping the whole video game industry though.
100%. Yeah.
Now, for Sky, did you know how she looked like at the beginning, or was it something you knew later?
No, I can't remember. I think I did, honestly, but I can't remember. But I knew she was a woman, and I knew she was 25 and she was a human. To what degree she's a human, I don't know. But like that might be revealed because it's a narrative story, like all the time. Like, but I knew she was going to be like a 20-something girl, So it's not that much of a stretch for me to relate to that. It wasn't like when you get like an animation of an airplane and they're like, do the voice of this airplane, and you're like, okay, fuck. How's this airplane gonna sound?
Now, if you could do the voiceover for any movie, TV show, or video game right now, which one you will choose?
The Simpsons.
Okay.
Is that okay to say?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I want to do other video games. I don't know what ones yet, like necessarily. I would love to do a horror game, probably. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I would love to do The Simpsons, and I would also, I mean, The Simpsons has been my favorite show my entire life. I grew up on it. It was my third parent. I just loved it, and I would love to be on The Simpsons, and or a kids show. I would love to do one of the voices on a kids show and play.
That's so cool.
What's going on? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can see you.
We're back.
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on a sec. You're frozen on my end. And play like a little kid character or something like that. That would be what I want. That's my little voiceover dream.
That would be cool. Now that you mentioned The Simpsons, like the other day I was in in this house, my uncle's house, right? And my little cousins, they were watching TV, so I was like, hey, what are you guys watching? Yeah, TV, okay. So then I grabbed the control, and then I just started to switch channels. And then there was Simpson. I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. So I leave on that, and then they looked at me like, what is that? And I'm like, that is like the greatest show ever. You need to really, you need to watch this. Like it's crazy, basically. And
they've got to go back and watch the old stuff because the new Simpsons is weird.
Totally. And what ended up happening is that they looked at me and they were like, dude, you're so old. I was like, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, okay, boomer.
Yeah, totally. Now, if you could describe your career at the moment in a movie or a TV show, what would be the title of it?
Oh, God. A work in progress, I guess.
Work in progress, I like it.
Yeah. No, just that's the thing, you know, I've been doing this for such a long time. I've been doing this, God, for so long. And, you know, it's a journey. And
Totally.
you make a choice to do this with your life, and like, there's no ending really. And I think you think that there is. And then once you're older, you're like, there really isn't. And, I think it's a work in progress, you know. I am trying to, especially at the moment, that's like kind of my goal, like in the past, like, you know, couple of weeks, is to really go back to focusing on being good. I have spent probably the past 2 years really trying to understand the industry in LA and put my best foot forward in that way. And it's been very valuable, and I would recommend that anyone does that. But I think now I want to go back to basics, and I want to make sure that like I am good at this thing that I'm supposedly doing with my life, you know. So I've been taking classes again and really focusing on that. And I kind of made some behind the scenes changes in terms of who was representing me, because I really wanted a fresh start in the beginning. And I just want to, kind of, you know, just a fresh start. So I think a work in progress, and just really go back to my roots of like storytelling and really like caring about doing a good job.
Totally.
It's very hard out here. It's so fucking exhausting in LA sometimes. There's a lot of rejection, and it can be very hard to continue doing that work, because sometimes it feels like it's not about who's good. It feels like it's about luck or whatever it might be. But I don't want to lose sight of why I wanted to start doing this in the first place. I sound so cheesy, but you know what I mean. Yeah,
totally. A work in process. And you know, you can make a trilogy out of it, you know. Work in process is part 1, and then the more and then we got like, I don't know how the sequel is gonna call, but you can make it like that, you know. And then like the trilogy, you will split it into 2 parts, you know, so you can get like more money, you know.
I like it. I like
you need to do that. That's what I realized, that if at some point I'm gonna make a movie, the last one needs to be 2 parts. That's like the rule of it, you know.
That's the rule. That's what Harry Potter did.
Yeah, totally. Now I wonder, like, what motivates you? I mean, what gets you back up pursuing your dream when you're having like a bad day?
Oh, myself probably, and like my friends. I really lean on my friends a lot. Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have really good girlfriends out here. They're just the fucking greatest. Shout out to my girls. I think that your dogs are like, give me attention. The thing that motivates me is just like, I'm away from my family, and like, you know, I have to. I don't know. I'm pretty resilient. Like, I'm a very resilient person. I just kind of keep going. I'm like an Energizer bunny in that way. But it can be really, really hard. And I think I do have moments where I get really down about things, and I have to pull myself up by my bootstraps for sure. But I always do, and I always come out of it. So I don't know. I just really like enjoy it. So it's easy to keep pursuing something you enjoy, you know? Yeah,
totally agree on that.
It's also the only thing I know now. And that sounds like kind of stupid. Like, I've heard people say that, and I'm like, oh, this God, you could learn something else. And I could, but I just know this world very well because I've just been in it for so long. Yeah. That it does, just feels like it makes sense to me. Sure. So, you know, what else am I going to do? I can't be an accountant.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And like, my last question here, like, what advice could you give to those who recently started building their dreams, or those who are, you know, like a little bit insecure if they should do it or not, you know? Like, what could you say to them?
If you don't know if you should do it or not, I would say to you, really, really think hard about it, because it's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of heartache, and if you don't love it, it is not worth it. So I would say really think long and hard about whether this is something that you really want to commit your life to. Sure. And then I would say, if you do it, just remember to believe in yourself. And also remember that the thing about you that is so interesting is just you. There's no one like you in the world. And there might be some other blonde girl who's Australian, but she's not exactly like me. She doesn't have my personality. I don't have her personality. Like, we're all so unique, and that's what makes you special. And you should lean into the things about you that are unique and different, especially in 2021. I think it's really the time for that. So just believe in yourself. And also, my mother always says, she says, go gently. Whenever we get off the phone, she'll go gently. And that means, like, just be kind to yourself. Like, you know, treat yourself with a gentle touch, I guess. Like, you know,
you know what you mean.
Yourself. Like, be kind. Don't be, and trust me, I don't take this advice at all myself. I'm so hard on myself, but it's really, really important that, like, you know, you appreciate where you've come. This is like a really ridiculous example, but like, when I first started making TikToks a few months ago, I really wanted to get to 10K. And I was like, I want to have 10K followers on TikTok. And then I got 10K. And I went, oh, I want to have 20K. And then I got 20K. And I went, oh, I want to have 30K. And nothing I've noticed has been good enough. You know, I get more followers and I'm like, well, but I'm not at 100K yet. And I was thinking about this even this morning. And I was like, you need to take stock of the achievements as they happen. And I'm not doing that enough. And I think it's really important, like, you know, if you're a really shy person and you can get up the courage to go and take an acting class, like, that is really, you should be really proud of yourself, and you should take stock of the fact that you have the courage to do that. So I think it's just about, believing in yourself and being kind to yourself.
Yeah, I do agree on that. Yeah, totally. Because at the end of the day, I mean, your body is like the machine who works everything for you. I mean, if you don't pay attention to it, it's gonna kill you at some point, you know. Like, for example, it happened to me like the other day that I was planning. Like, I was like, I had like a lot of things to do, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna sleep tonight. So I. Oh,
that's never a good idea.
Yeah, that was like the worst thing I did. The reason why is that, yes, I did finish everything that I planned, so that was really good. But what ended up happening is that day I was just not there. You know, like, I was like in my own world, like thinking, like, I was just not there. And it was horrible, because I went that time into a job interview and I didn't know what to say, to be honest. I don't know anything about it, and I'm like, I don't know what is going to happen, if they call or not, but we'll see, you know? So, like, at that moment, I was like, you know what, I think you really need to pay attention into sleep, eat well, like trying to not have like bad habits. And so, like, a couple of days ago, I started like this new routine in which, like, 2 hours before I go to bed, I will not open my computer, not cell phone or TV, nothing. Like, nothing. I'm just gonna like put everything away for 2 hours before I go to bed, and it does help, you know. Also, I do like to meditate, so I do think that if you pay attention to your body and what your body needs, like, the results from what you love, are gonna come eventually, because you're gonna be always working at 100%, you know.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think those are all really healthy habits that you're starting.
Totally.
Yeah, not looking at social media so much is a big one for me. Not looking at social media first thing in the morning. I'm so addicted to social media. It's a fucking problem, dude. I'm so addicted to it. I
know what you mean. And also, like, I do think that whenever you will start a dream, try not to, well, at least that's what I think, that to not compare yourself with others, you know? Because you don't know, because I've realized that is like the worst thing you can do. That
what do they say? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Totally. I mean, you cannot compare yourself if you're starting something, or if you're because you don't know what that other person did. I mean, plus you're not that person. You're just you. You know, you should focus. Yeah. You should focus on you, like, work on you, build your own project. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. No. Oh, that's another thing. We all struggle with it as well. I have friends who are so successful that are like, oh God, and I like look at them and I'm like, oh, I dream of being that successful, having that many followers or that much money or whatever. And they're over here going like, oh, look at that person. Oh my God. And it's like, it never ends. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
never ends. Yeah, it never ends.
never ends. Like, Beyonce probably has someone she feels that way about. Maybe not Beyonce, but like, she's probably the one person in the world. But like, we all have someone that we think, you know, they're so much better than us, and it's you got to stay in your lane. Just don't look around. It's just you.
Yeah.
You're not competing against anyone.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I do agree on that. Yeah, it happens all the time that whenever you will compare yourself, and also I just think that whenever you will compare yourself, you will not enjoy the results you're having. You know, instead of enjoying the result to be like, yeah, I did that. You know, I created that. That's so cool. You will be like, well, yeah, it's obvious. I mean, if I want that, this is obvious. So, and I do think that when that happens, you don't get the chance to truly enjoy it, you know, like truly embrace it and to be proud of it, you know?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you got to enjoy the journey for sure. It's hard to do, but
yeah, totally.
Definitely a worthy pursuit.
Totally. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, Miranda, what can I say? I mean, you're basically a badass here, so congratulations on that. That's really...
I appreciate that.
That's
I
really
don't
cool.
feel like one.
That's really cool on that. Now, because we finished the whole question, I need to give you an epic shout out. So, there you go. That's an epic shout out here. And also, I mean, it is really cool. By the way, my dog's just invade. Let me show you mine. Like the puppy. Come here.
I feel like it's a really big puppy.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, baby.
Yeah. He's like, get up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
You're a big boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could give you a cuddle. Look at his little face. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know where my baby is. I think she's in the other room.
But anyway. There you go. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's really cool what you have done. Like your career here, I would say that it's really impressive. And I can't wait to see more of your awesome work in the future. I'm super sure that we will see you in a lot of more video games, movies also, hopefully horror.
Yes, hopefully. Yeah,
that would be cool. That would be cool. And also, thank you so much for those who tune in. It is really cool to have you guys here. Make sure that you're following Miranda and all of our social media. Normally, what I would say is that if you listen this later on the podcast or watching this later on the YouTube channel, put pause, leave a like, of course, subscribe, and then hydrate, and then follow Miranda and all of her social media. Make sure that you're spreading the voice here that we have an amazing, talented, badass super actress here. And then come back, you know. And yeah, keep having an amazing rest of your Sunday here, and keep being amazing because you are totally killing it here. And remember that you are really doing it, and yeah, enjoy the ride, I guess.
I appreciate that. You're so sweet. All right, love. Thank you so much for tuning in and taking the time to talk to me today. I appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. Keep having a good one, okay?
Okay, bye.
Bye.